Hello, everyone. It's Mike Yao with Savage Kingdoms role playing game and Fire in the Head Productions. Just thought I'd do a little update video. Haven't done one in a few days, and it was just like some role playing stuff. So, this is an update about an exciting week coming up. I've got my summer camp, my role playing game summer camp coming up. In the past, it's been known as the Wyvern Watch because it's in conjunction with the Wyvern's Tail game shop here in North Asheville, North Carolina. If you haven't visited that place, please do. Those guys are awesome. They have all your role-playing game needs and board game needs and miniatures and dice and all that accoutrement that goes with it. So, but however, this camp that starts tomorrow, June 15th, the rest of the 20th will be online. We've adapted to online because of obviously the pandemic, etc. Trying to be safe. So this will be run mostly, really, is me, my little Fire That Productions. So it's really kind of my thing, but it's with those guys' blessings, and they've advertised it for me as well. And then hopefully the second camp we have lined up in July will be back at the Wyvern's Tail with social distancing and all the cleanliness stuff in order, but we're not sure. We have to kind of wait. It's like nobody's quite sure where this pandemic's going and all the phases and precautions everyone's taking seem to overall be doing pretty well, but there's secondary spikes that are occurring and that kind of stuff. So hopefully that will happen. If not, it'll be online again. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with everybody. So it's just a quick update about the camp and also about where we are in the Savage Kingdoms 3E Core Rulebook. The process with that. So first of all, this is my big D20. Awesome. Which kind of signifies the start of the camp because the last 2 years when I've run these summer camps and also ran a couple of Christmas or like holiday winter camps as well. We started off with the kids and we always roll this giant D20 and whoever gets the highest gets something, or we have a sheet of paper, we get a prize. So we do cool little things like that. So anybody out there who's looking to do a camp like this, maybe there's some suggestions here. I'm not going to give away all my secrets. But, I'll generally kind of let you know what's going on. So we do stuff like that. Because I'm an actor, I also teach some improv. So we probably won't do tons of that because the kids mostly want to do gaming. But since improv technique ties in with tabletop role-playing games, I like to do that as well as break up the monotony because this is an online camp. So it's going to be 6 hours. Usually we do, in the past, it's been 7.5 to 8 hour days, like your typical sort of camp day. But since it's online, there's a lot of sitting and screen time. We're reducing it to 6 hours per day. So, but still, that's 30 hours of role-playing gaming, which will really come down to probably 26 hours, and then the other 4 hours will be split up throughout the 5 days, doing various exercises, hopefully. We probably won't linger on that too much, but we'll do some of that just to break up the time and also take breaks and lunch break and all your normal stuff that you would do in an actual camp, for it to be face-to-face. So that's what I'm going to be doing next week. That'll be fun. And then that second one I talked to you about is July 20th through the 24th. So, yeah, that's the 20 right there. There's the dreaded one. So there's that. So what we'll be doing at the camp, we'll be playing the kids prefer, which I'm very proud of them. They prefer my game, Savage Kingdoms, actually even over Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. So we will be mostly doing, perhaps even all, Savage Kingdoms. That's the Reforged book. That was the last edition, the kind of 1.5 edition. Originally I had it planned that we are going to do 2 days of this, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It's a good gateway game for the kids. The kids as in the campers. My camper kids are anywhere from 10 to 14, I believe. Actually, I think this group is 11 to 13. There might be somebody that's 14 or almost 14. If you guys are watching this, I apologize if I've butchered your age, but they're somewhere in that general category. In the past year, we had, I think we had somebody who was 15, maybe almost 16. So hopefully we'll see those guys back in July, maybe. Yeah, so, but we're probably going to do Savage Kingdoms instead of D&D 5th edition, but we might do a little bit of that. So, and I showed you that as well. So that's what I'll be doing next week. That'll be cool. So that's the first thing I wanted to get off my chest, just to kind of, not off my chest, that sounds terrible, but like I'm excited about it. I just want to let you guys know that that's what's going on. So I run a role-playing game summer camp, and if you're interested, and you have a child, a cool young person between the age of 10 and 15, then note that I do these camps a couple times every summer, and usually during the winter, during like the whatever it's called nowadays, the holiday break, the winter break. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Um, okay, part two of this quick video update video is about the Savage Kingdoms third edition role playing game core rulebook. Oh right, here. So anyway, it is what phase are we in? So it's done. Those of you who have backed the project are at least $10 and above on the Indiegogo campaign should have already received because I sent them out last couple days. I finished sending them out yesterday. You should have the preliminary PMF, meaning PDF, meaning that it's a stripped down version. It doesn't have art insertion. It doesn't have the graphic design. It's just all text. I mean, I designed as much as I could within Word and turned it into a PDF. So all the text is there, all the content is there. It just doesn't have the art insertion and the cool graphic layout. So I hired Michael Scott Phillips again, who did the graphic layout for the Reforged Core Rulebook, which I just showed you, which got a lot of great feedback about the artistic design of it. So he's very good with that kind of stuff, which is why I hired him again. And he's a gamer as well, or at least a former gamer. I think he still knows about it and is into it. He knows about my setting and my rules pretty well as well, so that kind of helps instead of hiring someone who's not really familiar with role playing books or your setting. It just goes much easier because you have shorthand language. It's just, as you can imagine, it just goes easier that way. So yeah, so that's where we are. I've turned it over to him as of I guess it's been a week, maybe slightly more, and so here's a couple of style sheets. So here's a first look at well, sort of, not really, but kind of the first look at some of the pages. These are proof pages I kind of printed out. We're kind of right now we're in the process of deciding on fonts. I think this is Stone, which we might be going with. I really like Myandra, but that's also kind of been a pain. But it's also very similar to Stone. It's not kind of similar. So yeah, so we're at the point where we're deciding on fonts. I think we got that figured out, font size and all that kind of stuff. The page background, this is a black and white, so this doesn't really do it justice. It will be a full color book. Probably an option to do black and white, since the printers that we use can do that. The publishers that we use can now do that. Yeah, so there'll probably be a black and white option as well as a color option. But most of you who know about printing and publishing, just get the color. It's usually only $5, maybe $10 more for a full color book than it is black and white. Having worked in graphic design a long time ago in printing, the price in printing is all about setup. Once you get the press set up and going, the costs aren't that big of a deal. So yeah, a little side note. So that's where we are with that. He has the rules. Our next, we've like I just said, we decided on fonts, and so the next phase we're going into is I think we're now looking at. He's got some designs in mind for the cover, so that we'll start working on that soon. Some of the interior work, artwork that's going in, we're using mostly because we didn't raise quite as much money as I was not able to hire like some really mid to high level artist that I was kind of hoping for. But it's going to be fine. We've got ways to work around it. We're using some exclusive stock art that you have to buy, licensed stuff, and probably maybe some past artwork that I saw on the rights. So anyway, we'll see. It's going to look cool. Just know that. In some ways, honestly, I think it's going to end up looking cooler because the cool thing is when you get licensed art, you generally, depending on what you pay for it, you get a fairly good selection, and you can actually choose your style. Uh, Probably easier than an artist, an illustrator can generally do, because if you hire 4 different illustrators, you'll get different styles, which on one hand is awesome because a lot of authors want that. A lot of publishers want that, to have different approaches to what things look like. But then on the other hand, if you really are trying to really hone in on your world building and like how it really looks, sometimes it's better just to have the one artist or at least a style or two that's very similar. So there is an advantage to doing that. I also personally am into very photorealistic art, art illustrations and such. So photography styles are always really cool. One of my players is a professional photographer, and she's made some suggestions and stuff. She might even be contributing some things. So yeah, long story short, it's going to look cool. Yeah, without giving too much away. So anyway, that's where we are. So that's where the rules are. We're looking at, as you probably know if you've backed up the Indiegogo project, it's August is slated for the final the book to finally go out. That's looking good. Uh, might possibly be early, I mean, not early July, middle July, but you know, we'll see. That's about 50-50. So the targeted date per the Indiegogo is August, and hopefully that will be amazing. 2020 has been kind of weird, so generally a lot of game designers and game publishers want to target. They like to do August because it's right before Gen Con and Dragon Con. So there is a reason behind that. But this year, you know, Gen Con I think has already been canceled, and Dragon Con is still, it hasn't officially been canceled, but it's still kind of up in the air. But still, the target dates remain intact nonetheless. So, all right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Sorry this video wasn't longer, or maybe you're glad that it's not the usual fairly lengthy one. And take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks.